Chosen one, stop everything and sense the divine hush settling over you right now. A sacred urgency is pulsing in your spirit, whispering that a life-altering truth is about to break open. You are not randomly scrolling, you are sovereignly drawn here by the hand of God Himself. That striking 5555, blazing on the thumbnail, seized your attention and pulled you in, didn't it? In Scripture and Christian life, 55 signifies radical grace, the end of an old season and the explosive launch into God's new beginning, mirroring the triple outpouring of His mercy that transforms captives into conquerors. Your click was no accident. It was a heavenly summons, a holy invitation to receive the unprecedented word God has never spoken before, crafted solely for you. Before we dive into this earth-shaking revelation, if this pierces your heart, drop 555 in the comments, along with your city or country, to declare, I receive this now. That single step anchors you in this divine moment. Like this video, subscribe to lock arms with chosen ones worldwide and share it to ignite others who are starving for this truth. Your engagement is an act of warfare, faith, releasing hope to the weary and power to the called. Let's charge forward into God's unstoppable plan for you. Now let me ask you this. Why does it feel like you have been getting signs all week, but you kept brushing them off as coincidence? Why have your dreams suddenly become more vivid, more symbolic, like someone is trying to reach you from beyond the veil? Because they are. And this moment right here is heaven's confirmation. This is not just another spiritual video. This is a divine transmission. There is a warning inside it, but also a wild, beautiful promise. A promise so precise, so timely, so disruptive to the status quo that only the chosen will be able to carry it. You are not about to receive motivation. You are about to receive marching orders. You are not about to start a new chapter. You are stepping into an entirely new assignment. Your atmosphere is shifting, but your identity is too. This is the first time God has said it, and He chose to say it to you. So stay with me. Do not look away, because what I'm about to share next will explain everything that has been happening to you and everything that is coming next. God's chosen ones. First time God ever said something like this to you. Right now, in a moment, suspended between heaven and earth, something unprecedented is unfolding. Not merely unusual, but cosmically singular. For the first time since the breath of Genesis was spoken over chaos, God is delivering a message unlike any ever uttered. Not through prophets, clothed in sackcloth, not etched in ancient tablets, not encrypted in visions shared behind veils. This is not a riddle for scholars, nor a metaphor for theologians. It is untamed, it is alive, and it is erupting directly into your reality. But what kind of message bypasses centuries of divine protocol and lands without a filter into your soul? It is because you are not just part of the crowd. You have always known this. Even if no one ever named it, the stirring inside you has refused to die. Have you noticed how the same routine now feels foreign, like you have outgrown the shell of your old self? Why do you feel haunted by anticipation in rooms that used to feel safe? The answer is not psychological. It is spiritual. You have been marked. You have been set apart. Heaven has pierced through the noise, and this message is aimed at you, not because of what you have done, but because of who you were always meant to be. In the story of Gideon, the least of his tribe hiding from enemies, God appeared not with sympathy, but with identity. The Lord is with you, mighty warrior. Judges chapter 6 verse 12 states that God did not describe Gideon's reality. He declared Gideon's destiny. Do you feel like you have been hiding too? Not from enemies, but from your own immensity. What if God's message is not waiting for you to be ready, but is arriving because you already are, though you do not see it yet? This is not a metaphor, not a poetic mood. Something seismic is shifting in the unseen, a divine urgency vibrating through the frequencies of time. The moon in its fullness tonight is not just beautiful, it is resonating like a drum echoing across the heavens, looking for spirits that have been trained in silence. Can you sense the alignment, the unseen current moving beneath the surface of everything familiar? and the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. John chapter 1, verse 5 confirms that this verse is not distant history. It is right now. Because the war between light and shadow has reached a crescendo, and God is not raising tourists or philosophers. He is calling forth warriors calibrated in pain, refined in silence. And you, yes, you are being handed the sword. But what will you do with it when it burns in your hand like a truth you can no longer ignore? Consider St. Joan of Arc, a teenage peasant girl who heard God's voice, defied empires, and led armies. Her words still thunder. I am not afraid. I was born to do this. She was dismissed, doubted, condemned, yet immortalized in eternity, not for her perfection, but for her obedience. Could your courage ignite something eternal too? Or think of Isaiah, who saw the Lord high and exalted and fell undone by his own inadequacy. And yet when the divine voice asked, "Whom shall I send?" Isaiah did not delay. He said, "Here I am. Send me." Isaiah chapter 6 verse 8 mentions that is not that the cry echoing faintly inside your own chest now. Not long ago, in the dusty outskirts of a Moroccan village, a woman named Ela spent 14 years running a humble school with no electricity. Most dismissed her as naive. But during a pandemic, her graduates became the only literate health translators in the region, saving dozens of lives. She never sought significance. She just followed a pull she could not explain. Is it possible that your quiet persistence is about to become someone else's deliverance? Then there is a man named Daxton, a character few have ever heard of, but whose truth is etched into the walls of consequence. For years he labored unnoticed in a cold metal factory, creating parts for machines he did not understand. Until one day those very parts were traced to a satellite system that detected a tsunami before it reached land, saving thousands. Daxton never saw the waves, but the world changed because he did not stop showing up. Are you willing to build in the dark what heaven plans to use in the light? Imagine the migration of geese, how they rise not by effort alone, but by catching invisible currents of air, lifting each other by pattern, timing, and instinct. You are being carried now by something unseen but exact. Your alignment with the divine is not accidental. It is strategic and it is irreversible. This is not mysticism. This is not an exaggeration. This is the moment the veil is pulled back, and God for the first time speaks something so unrepeatable it can only be spoken once through your life. What happens if you ignore it? What happens if you say yes? Because heaven right now is still holding its breath. 7 days, that is all. Not symbolic days, not poetic exaggeration, but an actual, divinely encoded stretch of time where heaven is weaving new architecture into your reality. Can you feel the pressure in the air? Not the stress of your to-do list, but something deeper, as if the fabric of your inner world is shifting without asking your permission. Why does everything you once tolerated now feel suffocating? Why are your dreams sharper, your emotions rawer, your timing stranger? Because this is not a coincidence. This is convergence. God has activated a timeline shift, not by accident, but by intention, and you are not observing this shift, you are at the center of it. For 7 sacred days, a divine current will move through the earth like a secret river, invisible to the sleeping but irresistible to the awakened. Those who are aligned heart, mind, spirit will feel themselves lifted not by willpower, but by gravity pulling them toward their original assignment. Are you beginning to notice what used to exhaust you now just slips past like wind? In Acts chapter 2, as the early believers gathered in an upper room, the Holy Spirit came like a rushing wind. Not metaphor wind. Tongues of fire appeared over their heads. They were not expecting a moment that would redefine human history, but it came because they were aligned. Can you stay present these next 7 days, not waiting for a miracle, but recognizing you are the miracle in motion? For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. 2 Timothy chapter 1 verse 7 reveals that this shift is not making you stronger, It is revealing you already are. That fear you thought was part of your personality, it is evaporating. The doubt that looped like background noise replaced by clarity as ancient as Eden. You are not upgrading, you are remembering. Remember when Lazarus was called from the tomb, he did not negotiate, he did not ask for proof. He simply responded. Jesus did not tell him to be worthy, he told him to come out. John chapter 11 verse 43 states that this week, heaven is saying the same to you. Come out of your old name. Come out of delay. Come out of numbness. But will you recognize the voice when it sounds like your own thoughts reawakening? A woman named Maya, unknown to the world, lived in a quiet coastal town in southern France. For decades, she suffered from debilitating illness and solitude. But 7 days after an unexpected dream about light wrapping around her spine, her body began to heal in stages. Within months, she was traveling across Europe, teaching trauma release through breath and prayer. She never asked to be seen. She just responded when her spirit stood up inside her. And it is not just about healing, it is about rising. Dr. Miles Monroe, a renowned pastor and leadership expert, once said, "The wealthiest place in the world is the graveyard, because in it are buried dreams that were never fulfilled." His voice carried the fire of activation, waking up souls trapped in good intentions. What dreams inside you are waiting for just 7 days of alignment to resurrect? Meanwhile, in a corner of Nairobi, a boy named Amani had an odd gift. He could feel people's emotions like temperature. It scared his family, shamed him in school. But after a dream told him to stop hiding and start blessing, he began praying over strangers. He is now the reason an entire orphanage was rescued from closure, because one of those strangers was a lost donor looking for a sign. Could the thing that once made you too much be the very reason the world shifts? Have you watched a snake shedding its skin? It does not panic, does not cling to what no longer fits. It simply leans into the instinct that something bigger is waiting on the other side of surrender. These next 7 days will ask that of you. Are you willing to shed what the old you depended on, even if it means walking into territory with no map? This is not hype. It is not esoteric fluff. This is a countdown, sacred and irreversible. It is why synchronicities have intensified. Why do the same numbers keep showing up? Why does your body feel electric some nights and hollow the next? These are not flukes. They are signals. And every one of them is marking a precise entry point into the you that has always been waiting. So do not miss this window. The next week is not just a shift in time. It is a holy convergence where the veil will thin, and the voice calling you will not shout. It will whisper like thunder. And when it ends, your old self, the version of you built in survival, masked in perfection, tangled in fear, will be gone. In its place will stand the version God always saw, forged not in ease but in fire. At this very moment, the full moon stands at the apex of its ancient cycle, radiating a frequency that once stirred prophets awake in the wilderness and parted seas at the appointed hour. But unlike then now, it is your turn. This is not just about lunar beauty or astrological curiosity. This is a spiritual transmission encoded in light. The same gravitational pull that commands oceans is now whispering into your bones, calling you not just to observe, but to respond. Yet how many are letting this pass unnoticed, numbed by the noise of a distracted life? What happens when divine alignment knocks and no one answers? The tragedy is not that the frequency is not there. It is that too many are mistreated. This moon is not passive. It is pulsing like a cosmic heart. It is carrying a vibration tailor-made for your transformation. But your soul, though hungry, is surrounded by static guilt, shame, addiction to validation, loops of comparison, and like a sacred radio. Receiving celestial frequencies, your spirit cannot catch the signal if it is wrapped in bitterness. Has your truth been drowned out by the voice of someone else's timeline? In 1 Kings chapter 19. When Elijah ran into the cave desperate and disillusioned, he expected God in the earthquake, the fire, the wind, but the Lord was not in any of them. He came in a still small voice. 1 Kings chapter 19, verse 12. confirms that you are listening for the loud while ignoring the sacred quiet? What if your greatest instruction is encoded in silence, waiting for you to clear space? You are energy, but not random, precise, intelligent, divine. The moon tonight, at its radiant zenith, is not just illuminating the sky. It is speaking. Coded light is bathing the earth, carrying messages to those willing to detox the static and listen. Will you unplug from noise long enough to receive what heaven is now broadcasting? A woman named Aveline in the Scottish Highlands spent most of her life tending to sheep and living off-grid. No phone, no internet, just stars and scripture. One night during a harvest moon, she heard what she called a vibration that turned into vision. The next morning, she wrote a prayer that would be discovered years later and turned into a global anthem for peacemakers. Her voice became a movement, not because she was loud, but because she was positioned. Jesus said, "Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God." Matthew chapter 5 verse 8 states that it is not intellect that discerns divine timing. It is the purity of alignment. Could it be that your distractions are not simply bad habits, but veils, keeping you from the one encounter that changes everything? Bishop T.D. Jakes, a renowned preacher and cultural architect, once declared, "If you cannot figure out your purpose, figure out your passion, for your passion will lead you right into your purpose." He spoke those words during a season when many were giving up, and his voice became thunder that revived millions. What if your passions are not wild impulses, but breadcrumbs towards sacred destiny? And not far from the Andes Mountains, a man named Elas kept waking at 2:22 a.m. each night, hearing a sound he could not describe. He thought he was losing his mind until during one full moon, he felt compelled to sing into the darkness. The notes came from nowhere. A hiker passing through recorded it, posted it online. And that song went on to calm refugee children halfway across the world. Elas did not chase meaning. He aligned for a moment. Do you know how sunflowers behave when the sun disappears? They turn toward each other, sharing warmth and light as if remembering what direction life flows. That is what you are being invited to do. Not perform, not produce, but align with the energy that remembers who you were before you were wounded. This moon holds a once-in-generations frequency, not metaphor, literal shift. It will not wait. It will not repeat. If you miss this alignment, your destiny is not cancelled, but it may be postponed. Because when the Spirit sends the invitation and you do not RSVP, the banquet continues without you. Can you afford that delay? Let us be clear. This is not for everyone. This message, this exact moment, is a royal dispatch for those marked by heaven's highlighter. You felt it. The pull to simplify, to turn away from glittering distractions, to walk alone if needed. That is not rebellion. That is recalibration. It is not ego. It is an assignment. God is not looking for people with flawless resumes. He is looking for those who have been refined in obscurity, misunderstood, underestimated, rejected, but who never let the oil dry up in their lamps. You are one of them. You are not late. You are not lost. You are just finally aligned. You were never abandoned. Not once. You were being forged in silence, in shadows, in seasons that looked like nothing was happening. But beneath the surface, foundations were being laid for something so rare that even heaven held its breath. Your delays were not denials. Your wounds were not disqualifications. They were training grounds. Do you realize that every scar on your heart is now a seal of spiritual authority, that your pain was never pointless but prophetic? So here it is, the clearest message heaven has released in this generation. The call is not coming. It is already here. But will you answer it? No more postponing your voice. No more shrinking into the margins of your own life. You are not just a name in a crowd. You are a living key. And divine doors remain sealed until your yes is spoken aloud. What if heaven's movement is paused, not because God is late, but because you are still hesitating? What parts of you have gone silent? Not from peace, but from fear. What if the world's current ache is waiting for your healing to echo? In the book of Esther, when the threat to her people grew unbearable, she did not volunteer easily. She was terrified, but Mordecai's words were thunder. Who knows but that you have come to your royal position for such a time as this? Esther, chapter 4, verse 14 confirms that, do you see it now? That your timing is not random, that your positioning is intentional. What if you were born into this chaos because you carry what this moment requires? These are not ordinary days. Time is stretching and collapsing at once. Emotions feel wild, not because you're unstable, but because your spirit is trying to decode instructions being downloaded faster than ever before. This is not stress. This is spiritual velocity, like Elijah outrunning Ahab's chariots after fire fell from heaven. 1 Kings chapter 18 verse 46 states that you are being equipped for speed. Can your logic keep up with your calling? A woman named Isadora from Lisbon spent a decade grieving the death of a child. Silence became her sanctuary. But this year, during what she called a dream soaked in golden fire, she woke up speaking words she had never heard before, in a language she did not recognize. Those words, later identified as ancient Hebrew, became the foundation of a song translated and sung by survivors in Jerusalem. She had no plan, she only had obedience. Have you underestimated what your brokenness might become when offered without performance? Jesus said, "You are the light of the world. A city on a hill cannot be hidden." Matthew chapter 5 verse 14 mentions that not should not cannot. Your light is not decorative. It is disruptive. And the only way darkness wins is if you dim what heaven placed in you to blaze. What if your hesitation is costing others clarity? Dr. Bernice King, daughter of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and a powerful voice for justice, once said, "Some are waiting for a sign, but sometimes you are the sign." Her words remind us that destiny is not something we wait for, it is something we rise into. Could your presence in the right place be the answer to someone else's silent prayer? Then there is Raphael, a fisherman in southern Chile whose story is quietly legendary. After surviving a brutal sea storm, he began sketching out visions he saw in the waves. One image of hands holding back waters was discovered by a visiting pastor who used it as the emblem for a national disaster relief mission. Raphael never sought a spotlight. He just captured what he saw, and the image became a banner of hope. Watch the hawk in full flight. It does not flap frantically. It catches the wind with poise and lets the air do the lifting. That is what is happening now. You are not being asked to strive. You are being asked to surrender into the momentum already building beneath you. But will you trust that you were made for altitude? Everything is accelerating. What once took a decade will now take weeks. What once crawled will now soar. Relationships, revelations, awakenings, all arriving in divine fast forward. You have been feeling off balance because walking is no longer your mode. You were made to fly. And like Peter stepping onto water, it is only impossible until you stop calculating and start moving. Matthew chapter 14 verse 29 states that God is not launching the qualified. He is qualifying the launch. And your activation is not future tense. It is now. The trembling you feel is not a weakness. It is spiritual ignition. This is not a phase. It is a once-in-a-lifetime convergence. A sequence that began before you were born, finally reaching ignition. Do not retreat. Do not delay. Let go of the weight. Let the current take you. This is not the moment to be logical. This is the moment to be light. They are telling you it is a virus, that it is biological, invisible, unstoppable. That what is sweeping through streets, cities, families is merely a medical phenomenon. But beneath that narrative lies a far more insidious invasion. What is truly spreading is not confined to cells or lungs. It is moving through minds, hijacking spirits, sedating hearts. It is not just sickness. It is submission. And while the headlines scream of symptoms, heaven is whispering of allegiance. What if this is not just a test of public health, but a war over your worship? Look again. Fear has become currency. Confusion, a daily diet. Dependency on systems, not on spirit, is the new norm. Why are so many bowing to men with microphones and forgetting the whisper of the Almighty? The deeper contagion is not in the air. It is in the soul. This is not about pandemics. This is about power. The kind that subtly convinces you to surrender what was never theirs to claim. Your spiritual sovereignty. Can you still hear God when the world is shouting louder than ever? It is written in Daniel chapter 3, when the furnace was lit and the music played, everyone bowed except 3. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego refused to surrender to the golden image of the king. And in their defiance, God did not keep them from the fire. He entered it with them. Daniel chapter 3 verse 25 confirms that it could be that your resistance is not rebellion, but revelation, that heaven walks closest with those who will not kneel to fear. While society spirals into chaos, the chosen ones, you are being summoned into sacred stillness. You are not being called to argue theology or defend opinions. You are being called to anchor reality in unshakable truth. The virus may touch bodies, but spiritual apathy devours nations. Have you noticed the world forgetting who they are? Children of light, and instead chasing crowns made of likes, titles, and trends. When Aaron crafted the golden calf, the people were not looking for evil. They were looking for something visible to worship. Exodus chapter 32 verses 1 through 4 mention that, but in doing so, they traded revelation for representation. What golden calves have replaced God's voice in your life? What voices have become louder than the one who designed your destiny? Darren, a school janitor in Ohio, said nothing when lockdowns hit, but he started writing scriptures on post-it notes and sticking them inside students' lockers. Months later, one of those students admitted the verse saved her from taking her life. Darren's job was not ministry, but his presence became medicine. Could it be that your unnoticed faithfulness is the antidote someone else has been praying for? Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Romans chapter 12 verse 2 reveals that this transformation is not theory. It is happening now, and it is burning through layers of who you pretended to be to awaken who you have always been. Have you felt it lately? That inexplicable combination of exhaustion, longing fire, and divine flow. That is not burnout. That is spiritual combustion. Your cells are catching up to your soul. Katherine Johnson, the brilliant mathematician behind NASA's orbital mechanics, said, "Like what you do, and then you will do your best." But she did not just like math. She was called to precision. Her excellence pierced through racial and gender barriers because it aligned with something higher. She did not seek glory. She carried light into systems that feared it. Is your gift meant to shine where others hide? Across the hills of Lebanon, a woman named Rana began gathering children in her backyard during crisis times. She brought no curriculum, only a candle and stories from her grandmother. Over time, those evenings became a circle of healing, a place where trauma broke and laughter returned. She was never ordained. She was simply obedient. Is that not all God asks? Watch how rivers carve through stone, not by force, but by flow. That is you. You were not sent to push against the world, but to carry a frequency so consistent it reshapes terrain without apology. You are the current. You are the shift. God is not looking for passive consumers of spiritual content. He is calling those who will embody the cure. You are not here to mimic light. You are the light. And while the world runs after solutions, you are becoming the solution. Have you realized yet that what you thought was weakness, your sensitivity, your fatigue, your fire, is actually sacred calibration? The pressure in your body, the racing of your heart, the ache in your chest. These are not symptoms of illness, they are signs of awakening. Your DNA is being returned to the sound of heaven. Every cell remembers why it was made. And your spirit is burning hotter because your mission is no longer optional. The soul cannot stay silent when God increases the volume of purpose. The hunger rising inside you is not about food or success or validation. It is the ache for truth, raw, undiluted truth. It is the craving for alignment, so clean it burns. Your old life no longer satisfies because it was never meant to fund the version of you that is emerging. And that fire you have been feeling in your chest, that is not anxiety. That is divine combustion. That is what it feels like when God breathes straight into your bones and says, "Now you are not crumbling, you are cracking open." Can you feel it? That sacred pressure, the discomfort that is not pain but passage. What if the tightness in your chest is not a breakdown but the birth canal of your transformation? Are you willing to trust what does not feel logical but is deeply spiritual? When Jacob wrestled with the angel at Peniel, he walked away limping but blessed. Genesis chapter 32 verses 24 through 30 mention that he was not being punished, he was being renamed. Could it be that the limp you have been carrying lately is the signature of your destiny? What if your exhaustion is the echo of heaven restructuring your identity? Now is the time to honor your symptoms, not fear them. Hydrate, breathe. Speak life into the body that is hosting your rebirth. Rest, yes, but do not retreat. You are in a growth spurt of the soul, and like gold in fire, this heat is not here to destroy you. It is here to reveal your purity. Will you lean into it, even when it feels unbearable? The moon right now does not just glow, it charges the atmosphere. This full moon portal is not spiritual fluff, it is an encoded season. God often uses nature to announce new beginnings. Just as he used a burning bush to summon Moses, Exodus chapter 3 verse 2 states that he is now using frequencies in light and vibration to call forth his modern-day deliverers. Are you tuned in? Are you still enough to hear what is being whispered beneath the noise? Gabriel, a retired violinist in Prague, began hearing music in his sleep during a full moon cycle. At first he ignored it, but then he started transcribing the melodies. Weeks later, his music became the score for a film about grief and healing. It was not ambition, it was obedience. Could the inspiration knocking at your heart be part of a divine assignment? You cannot receive this next chapter by accident. The frequency is not passive, it is interactive. You must rise to meet it. Set your intentions, cleanse your space. Speak your goals aloud. Dance beneath the moonlight. Fast, pray, write, walk barefoot in nature. Breathe in gratitude like oxygen. Why? Because heaven is scanning the earth for those who are awake enough to say yes. Not someday. Now draw near to God, and he will draw near to you. James chapter 4 verse 8 confirms that this is not about being perfect. It is about being present. But presence requires purity. Fear, jealousy, bitterness, gossip. These are not just emotions. They are frequency blockers. They cloud your reception. And right now, God is transmitting destiny with precision. Will your signal be clear or cluttered? Pastor Sarah Jakes. Roberts once said, "God is not intimidated by your brokenness," and she is right. Your worthiness was never in question. The only thing in question is your readiness. Are you still begging for permission? Or are you finally ready to possess what is already yours? Across a mountain village in northern Japan, a young woman named Akiko began planting seeds with handwritten prayers in each hole. The locals thought she was odd, but years later, during a national drought, her garden bloomed with supernatural consistency. Scientists could not explain it, but she did. "I prayed with my whole body," she said. Are your prayers just words, or are they movement? Look at how the butterfly emerges. It does not climb out with effort. It dissolves in the dark and is restructured by surrender. That is what is happening now. You are not being punished. You are being purified. The separation you have been experiencing is not rejection. It is refined. People may be fading from your life, and places that once felt like home now feel foreign. That is not abandonment. That is alignment. Not everyone can go where God is taking you, and that is not cruelty. That is clarity. Will you mourn what is leaving or celebrate what is arriving? This is great sorting, not by status, but by spirit. God is marking his leaders. Not the loudest, not the most visible, but the most faithful. Those who choose integrity behind closed doors. Those who say yes to truth when it costs them comfort. Those who move with quiet conviction while the world screams for attention. You are not losing people. You are shedding what cannot carry the weight of your calling. You are not being punished. You are being positioned. And the fire you feel inside, that is God chiseling you into something indestructible. You were never built to blend in. Your existence disrupts patterns, breaks molds, and pierces illusions. You are the interruption the world did not see coming. The sacred glitch in the matrix. The divine crack in a system designed to lull souls to sleep. And now, more than ever, you must own it with unwavering conviction. God did not assign you truth just to have you whisper it in empty rooms. In a culture obsessed with image, your authenticity is rebellion. Your integrity is a revolution. But can you stand tall when applause turns to silence? You may find yourself walking alone, not because you are unworthy of company, but because your calling requires uncluttered ground. What if the isolation is not punishment, but preparation? What if your solitude is the soil where sacred clarity begins to bloom? Do you recognize that sensation when your voice deepens with knowing? When decisions feel like instinct instead of anxiety? That is not coincidence. That is alignment. And you are stepping into it not by chance, but by orchestration from realms unseen. The spiritual fog, the veil between dimensions is thinner than ever. You are hearing sharper, feeling deeper, knowing faster. This is not hustle energy. This is holy energy. You are not chasing anymore. You are attracting not because of charisma, but because of resonance. Can you accept that you are becoming a magnet for everything your prayers whispered in the dark? When the Apostle Paul was struck blind on the road to Damascus, it looked like a setback, but in that blindness, he received the blueprint of his mission. Acts chapter 9 verses 3 through 9 mention that what feels like confusion in your life may actually be divine recalibration. What if your breakdown is your breakthrough in disguise? People, ideas, opportunities, love. They are all flowing toward you now, but they are not chasing the version of you that performed or pretended. They are seeking the radiant frequency of your truth. Can you handle being fully seen? Can you let the masks fall, even if it means being misunderstood? The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. John chapter 1 verse 5 states that you are glowing now, and your radiance is making shadows tremble. The attacks you have been feeling lately, the doubt projected onto you, that is not failure. That is feedback. Heaven is confirming that your glow is no longer optional, and neither is your rise. Fatima, a poet from Morocco, was once told her words were too intense, too spiritual, too raw. For years, she self-censored, but one night, she read her uncensored truth at a small cafe. A tourist translated her lines into German, and months later, her poem became the centerpiece at a peace summit in Berlin. She never forced her moment. She simply stopped shrinking. What are you holding back that the world desperately needs? God told Jeremiah, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you, and before you were born, I set you apart." Jeremiah chapter 1 verse 5 declares that you were never meant to be a replica. You were chosen to be a rupture, a divine interruption to cycles that needed breaking. Have you been trying to dim what heaven is demanding you to display? Oprah Winfrey once said, "When you know who you are, you do not need to prove anything to anyone." Her journey was not void of ridicule. It was forged by it. She became luminous, not by chasing favor, but by embodying truth. Could it be that the very thing you are being mocked for is the part of you that heaven anointed? In a coastal town in Iceland, a woman named Elizabeth ran a silent tea house where guests were asked not to speak. She believed silence was medicine. One guest, grieving and skeptical, came in to escape a storm. He left weeping. He later wrote, "Her silence healed me louder than 1,000 words." Elizabeth never raised her voice, but her energy did the talking. What is your presence saying even when you say nothing? Look at a volcano just before eruption, still majestic and shaken. No one sees the pressure building inside, but the shift is inevitable. That is you right now. You are carrying energy too vast to be contained by familiarity, and not everyone will understand it. That is okay. Their discomfort is not your call to dim. It is their invitation to awaken. You are not entering a chapter. You are stepping into a river. Fast, wild, holy. But rivers do not apologize for their current. Neither should you. Let yourself be carried by divine rhythm. Stop trying to explain your frequency to those who are still dialed into fear. You are the mirror, and mirrors are rarely welcomed by those avoiding their own reflection. Some will question your motives. Others will label your growth as arrogance. That is not rejection. It is a revelation. You are glowing now, and not everyone is ready to see what your light exposes. Let them misunderstand. Let them judge. But do not you dare dim. Do not shrink your flame to keep others warm. Do not hush your truth just because it unsettles those committed to illusion. You were not made to dim. You were made to blaze. Your presence was sculpted in fire, and your light does not need permission to burn. Can you see what is happening around you? Why is it that the moment you step into your power, resistance increases? Why do their whispers get louder just as your soul begins to sing? Because the closer you get to divine alignment, the more the noise rises. But noise is not threat. It is confirmation. The attacks are proof that something inside you is activating frequencies that darkness cannot decipher. You are not here to retaliate. You are here to radiate. Let their judgment deepen your humility. Let their gossip polish your grace. Let their doubt fuel your discipline. What if every enemy is just an unwilling witness to your awakening? No weapon formed against you shall prosper. Isaiah chapter 54, verse 17, confirms that this promise is not metaphor. It is a strategy. Heaven is not just behind you. Heaven is your armor. You have been sent to be a signal in a generation drowning in signals with no soul. And in a world reaching for influencers and microphones, God is raising those whose power is not in their platform, but in their presence. Are you willing to lead without applause? You do not need a title. Your clarity is your credential. Your alignment is your authority. When you walk into a room, you do not have to introduce yourself. Your frequency speaks first. When you release truth, it does not just inform, it transforms. When you operate from spirit, heaven responds. And miracles, they are not reserved for the elite. They flow through the obedient. Could it be that the miracles you are waiting to witness are waiting on your courage? When Deborah rose as a judge in Israel, she did not ask permission. She was a wife, a prophetess, a warrior. And when no man would lead, she did. Judges chapter 4, verses 4 through 10 mention that her authority did not come from status, but from surrender. What if you are the Deborah of your generation, holding strategies not for applause, but for alignment, Michaela? A young barista in Melbourne started scribbling encouraging phrases on coffee cup sleeves, quietly, anonymously. A video of one of her messages went viral. The world may forget your name, but heaven never has. That cup landed in the hands of a grieving widow who had just asked God for a sign. Michaela did not preach. She poured. What small act of obedience could become someone else's divine interruption? When the foundations are being destroyed, what can the righteous do? Psalm chapter 11, verse 3 asks. The answer is simple. Rise. When the old scripts collapse, it is not a disaster. It is divine editing. You were not built to follow familiar paths. You are made to pioneer new ones. The life that is unraveling is not a mistake. It is a holy undoing. Can you bless the chaos, knowing it is constructed in disguise? Sir Ken Robinson, educational visionary and author, once said, "If you are not prepared to be wrong, you will never come up with anything original." His legacy was not built on fear, but on sacred disruption. He dared to challenge systems not for rebellion's sake, but for restoration. Could your discomfort be the first sign that you are finally living from your true blueprint? In a quiet town near the Canadian border, a man named Elias spent years carving wood by hand. No shop, no online store, just trees and time. He believed his hands heard from God. One sculpture, a lion with wings, ended up on the desk of a global non-profit leader who later used it as the emblem for a justice campaign. Elias never planned to be seen. He just stayed aligned. Could it be that what you build in silence becomes a symbol for nations? You are not in transition. You are in transformation. And transformation does not ask for comfort. It asks for surrender. Watch how a snake sheds its skin slowly, silently, inevitably. It does not panic. It does not hold on. It allows the old layer to fall so the new can breathe. What are you still clinging to that your soul has already outgrown in the next 7 days? Expect divine interruptions. People may exit, plans may crumble, but what if all of that is not lost? It is leverage. What if your breakdown is really a blueprint revealing what was never built on truth? Are you willing to welcome the plot twist? Do not fight the shift. Do not mourn the noise. Flow with the current, even when it feels like chaos. God is writing a new script, and the wildest part, you are becoming everything you once feared was too good to be true. You have been feeling strange lately, have you not? Like your entire being is under construction, wired but weary, glowing one moment and weeping the next. A hunger that is not physical, a tiredness that sleep does not touch. You are not malfunctioning, you are transforming. What you are experiencing is not dysfunction, it is divine design. This is what it looks like when a soul steps into frequency faster than the body is used to. Your nervous system is stretching, your breath is recalibrating, your spirit is expanding. Could this discomfort be proof that you are finally becoming the version of yourself you were born to remember? What if the exhaustion is not depletion, but download? What if the ache in your chest is not anxiety, but the tremble of new power activating your heart space? You are not falling apart. You are shedding. Think of it like a caterpillar dissolving completely into mush before becoming a butterfly. You are in the sacred in between. No longer what you were, but not yet what you are becoming. Will you honor this process even when it feels like too much? When Jesus took Peter, James, and John up the mountain, he did not just pray. He transfigured. His face shone like the sun, and his clothes became light. Matthew chapter 17 verse 2 states that, what if your weirdness right now is the prelude to radiance? What if the tremors in your soul are preparing you for your own mountaintop moment? These waves you feel pulsing through your system, they are not random. They are sacred signals. Your body is being initiated into holding more light, more revelation, more authority. Let the shaking rise. Let the emotions move through. Do not suppress. Do not analyze. Do not medicate the mystery. Let the emergence complete itself, because when the dust settles, you will not just feel different. You will be different. You will look at the old version of you and wonder how you ever fit inside such a small container. There is a portal open right now. Not symbolic, not imaginary, but tangible in the spirit. It is a collision point, and it is time sensitive. It is the kind of window that shifts lifetimes. But you must choose. Are you willing to step forward without proof? Can you move before you are certain, trusting that your readiness has already been seen from above? When Moses stood before the burning bush, he was not given a map, he was given a moment. Exodus chapter 3 verses 2 through mention a divine appointment that did not make sense, yet demanded obedience. Could this week be your bush on fire moment? A disruption disguised as destiny. In the Philippines, a woman named Talia, a school principal, began waking at 3:33 a.m. with a clear inner voice saying only, "Prepare." She started writing down her ideas in the dark. Within months, she implemented a new educational model that tripled literacy rates in rural areas. She never had a strategy, just surrender. What if your instructions are already encoded inside your restlessness? Author and mystic Clarissa Pinkola Estes once said, "We are all filled with a longing for the wild, for what is real. Her work taught millions to trust their inner alchemy. And like her, your longing is not dysfunction, it is guidance. Could it be that your craving for more is proof that your soul is nearing its breakthrough? Be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Romans chapter 12 verse 2 confirms that this is not theoretical, it is physiological. Your neurons are being rewired to host higher clarity. Your thoughts are becoming highways for the divine. But every thought you entertain either prepares you or prevents you from stepping into the next octave of your purpose. What beliefs are you still carrying that are too small for the future waiting at your doorstep? You are not waiting on destiny. Destiny is waiting on your decision. This week is not ordinary. It is encoded. Every prayer you have whispered, every tear you have shed, every storm you have survived has led to this convergence. Are you ready to say out loud what your soul has been screaming silently for years? Speak it now. I am ready. Release the past, not because it was bad, but because it is no longer yours. Embrace the unknown, not because it is safe, but because it is sacred. Trust the rising current. Trust the ache. Trust the burning. This is not chaos. This is calibration. A glacier does not melt all at once. It breaks, cracks, groans, then surrenders. And beneath its collapse, new rivers are born. That is you. Your old structure is making room for flow. You are not stepping into another week. You are stepping into a sacred sequence, a divine rewrite, a cosmic rebirth. And the twist, you do not just become who you hoped to be. You become what you were afraid was never possible. You may feel as though the world is resting heavy on your shoulders, your body weary, your mind foggy, your emotions like ocean waves crashing against invisible cliffs. But this is not collapse, it is contraction. This is not the end. It is the final pressure before the breakthrough. What if the heaviness you feel is not failure, but the friction of transformation? What if your soul is expanding faster than your body knows how to process? Every chosen vessel is refined before being revealed. Every elevation demands endurance. And what you are sensing now, that unshakable tension in your chest, the weight behind your eyes, the strange tremors in your body, it is not dysfunction. It is divine preparation. You are not breaking down. You are breaking open. And the light is already leaking through the cracks. Think of Esther, silent and hidden in a foreign palace, trembling in the tension of knowing her moment had arrived. She did not feel ready, but the survival of her people was tied to her courage. Esther, chapter 4, verses 13 through 14, mention that what if your weariness is evidence that the magnitude of your assignment is closer than you think? Are you mislabeling labor pains as breakdown? This is not burnout, it is birthing. You are carrying the weight of something sacred. That ache in your bones is not weakness, it is legacy. So let the tears come. Let the laughter erupt. Let the contradictions dance in you like thunderclouds and lightning bolts. That is not chaos, that is convergence. You may find yourself waking in the middle of the night with your heart racing. You may feel moments of time bending conversations becoming portals, seconds feeling like hours, dreams bleeding into daylight. This is not fantasy, this is frequency. You have entered a divine corridor where time folds and destiny accelerates. Those who wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. Isaiah chapter 40 verse 31 states that you are not being stalled. You are being synchronized with a speed only heaven can authorize. And what once seemed far is rushing toward you like a river released from a dam. Are you ready to receive what you stopped praying for because it felt too delayed? In Uganda, a young boy named Emmanuel began sketching images in the dirt during church services. At first, people thought he was distracted, but a visitor noticed his symbols matched ancient Aramaic letters. His village later became the site of a school for spiritual language studies built around Emmanuel's gift. He was not disobedient. He was attuned. Could your distractions be divine downloads you have misunderstood? Jill Bolt Taylor, a Harvard-trained neuroanatomist, famously experienced a stroke that silenced the logical half of her brain. In that stillness, she felt one with God. I had found nirvana, she said. Her brain shut down, but her spirit awakened. Her recovery was not just medical, it was mystical. What if your disorientation is not disorder, but the rewiring of your entire inner world? The early church gathered in one accord when the Spirit fell like fire. Acts chapter 2 verses 1 through 4 mention that it did not happen in motion, it happened in presence. Right now your nervous system is syncing with your assignment. Your cells are learning to hold revelation without short-circuiting. This is a calibration of spirit, mind, and flesh. Will you stay alert in the waiting? This is the storm before your elevation, and storms are not punishments. They are passages. The thunder you feel is not a threat. It is a trumpet. Time is moving differently now. You may feel like you are surfing something invisible. That is because you are. When spirit moves faster than logic, the only option is surrender. Watch how hummingbirds move. Impossibly fast, yet in full control. They do not race, they align. You are being taught to live at light speed without losing clarity. This is not adrenaline, it is anointing. But can you remain calm in divine acceleration? Every lesson you were meant to learn in a year is now arriving in a week. Every truth you avoided is now demanding your attention. Every seed you planted, seen and unseen, is suddenly sprouting. But with this acceleration comes responsibility. You must stay vigilant. You must stay clean. Distractions that used to entertain now endanger. Patterns that once comforted now constrict. Are you willing to release what no longer moves in rhythm with your next season? You will be invited into sacred conversations, ones you did not plan but have waited lifetimes to speak. You will meet people who feel familiar, as if written into your soul before time began. You will encounter signs, synchronicities, and divine coincidences so exact they will feel like messages hidden in plain sight. Do not dismiss them. Do not overthink them. Just flow. See, I am doing a new thing now. It springs up. Do you not perceive it? Isaiah chapter 43 verse 19 declares that the new thing is not just around you, it is in you. And it is no longer waiting, it is arriving. This is not just a week. This is a spiritual acceleration chamber, a corridor between who you were and who you were prophesied to become. Let go of the clock. Let go of your need to understand. Let go of fear that whispers too much too fast. You were built for this. Your future is not someday, it is now. Something unusual is about to happen. Not dramatic, not visible, but unmistakably real. One morning you will rise and realize the weight is gone. The sadness you carried like a second skin will no longer sting. The doubts will not echo as loud. The old fear-based voices in your mind will have faded into whispers, and you will ask, what changed? But nothing around you will look different, because the shift did not come from outside. It came from within. You let go. You stopped clutching old identities, inherited shame, outdated truths, and the release was so deep your body finally exhaled. Could it be that your freedom was always waiting for your permission? The ache in your back, the tingling in your arms, the fatigue that hits you mid-sentence, they are not signs of weakness. They are sacred signals. Your soul has been detoxing not just from food, but from memory, from emotional debris passed down through generations, from beliefs you never agreed to, but absorbed like breath. This is not an illness. This is clearing. Your body is purging density to make room for light. Can you allow the ache without labeling it wrong? Remember the woman with the issue of blood who touched the hem of Jesus' garment. She did not scream. She did not ask. She reached and healing flowed. Luke chapter 8 verses 43 through 48 mention that her miracle was not loud. It was aligned. What if your healing does not require effort but frequency? In the next few days you might feel dreamy, floaty, even untethered. Not because you are escaping, but because you are arriving into higher awareness, into 5D divine flow. Do not try to fix it. Do not rush to ground it. Your spirit has been waiting lifetimes for this release. You are not drifting, you are ascending. And the old rules do not apply here. You are not becoming someone else. You are returning to who you were before the world taught you to shrink. That peace rising in your chest, that clarity you cannot quite explain, that unshakable knowing even in the middle of the unknown. That is your rebirth. You are being unchained, unburdened, unprogrammed. And when the last remnant of the old you dissolves, what remains will feel eternal. What if this is not the end of a chapter, but the beginning of the real you? Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. 2 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 17 states that this freedom is not a mood. It is not forced positivity. It is not an escape. It is a revelation. It is stepping into soul authenticity so powerful that even your ancestors sigh with relief. Do you realize how many lifetimes longed for what you are now embodying? Isaiah, a boy in Nigeria, began writing down strings of numbers he kept seeing in dreams. His mother thought little of it until a visiting missionary noticed the numbers matched biblical chapter references that, when read in order, formed a prophetic message. Isaiah did not try to be spiritual. He simply did not ignore the signs. Are you watching closely enough to recognize the whispers from heaven? Steve Harvey, beloved comedian and speaker, once shared how he kept seeing 555 on clocks and documents for years before his breakthrough. He later called it a divine code and said that learning to trust unexplainable signs changed everything. Could your repeated numbers be more than coincidence? Could they be breadcrumb trails from angels? God does not always shout. Sometimes he encodes a glance at a receipt, a license plate, a lyric on the radio that pierces you mid-drive. These are not random, they are woven. Every synchronicity is a pulse from the eternal, a wink from the Spirit. Call me, and I will answer you and tell you great and unsearchable things you do not know. Jeremiah chapter 33 verse 3 confirms that what if the answers you seek have already been spoken, not in language but in alignment? Nature speaks too. Monarch butterflies before migration gather in silence, feeling an invisible cue that it is time to rise. They do not rush, they respond. You are feeling the same pull, a silent urgency to move, to follow the lighted path even when you cannot see where it leads. Are you willing to trust what you cannot yet name? In a small town in Greece, a woman named Thalia began keeping a notebook of every odd phrase or symbol she encountered. Numbers, dreams, overheard conversations. Years later, that notebook became a blueprint for her spiritual center, now guiding thousands through awakening. She never waited for approval. She listened and wrote and trusted. So start writing. Speak what you hear. Follow what feels aligned. Your path is being revealed one sacred symbol at a time. Do not dismiss the whispers. Do not ignore the numbers. Do not laugh off the dreams. What if each one is part of a map you did not know you needed? The veil is thinning. The guides are speaking. Your ancestors are closer than ever. The time for doubt has passed. You are not being toyed with. You are being led. And this time, if you listen, if you follow, if you trust, you will arrive at something more beautiful than you thought possible. The fire is coming. Not to destroy, but to awaken. It will arrive like a sudden warmth in your chest, a spark dancing down your spine, a subtle quiver in your fingertips. It will not feel like fear. It will feel like purpose finally breaking through your bones. This is not panic. This is not sickness. This is ignition. The divine flame that has waited in silence for generations is now stepping forward. Can you feel it humming beneath your ribs, that undeniable sense that something ancient inside you is saying, "It is time"? You have waited patiently. You have walked cold corridors of silence and doubt. But God is not whispering anymore. He is roaring inside your ribcage. You are no longer being nudged. You are being set ablaze. And with that fire will come an intensity you cannot manage. Only surrender to. You will feel more alive, more charged, more full of holy urgency than you have ever known. But are you ready to burn with a flame that will not be tamed? This fire is not chaotic. It is catalytic. You will feel boldness rise without warning. Words will leap from your mouth with surprising clarity. Your hands will ache to build your spirit, to serve your mind, to dream in technicolor. Is this madness? No. This is the moment when your spirit reclaims leadership over your personality. When the real you, the chosen, the sealed, the called finally steps into full expression. When Jeremiah tried to hold back his words, he confessed, "His word is in my heart, like a fire shut up in my bones. I am weary of holding it in. Indeed, I cannot." Jeremiah chapter 20 verse 9 mentions that, what if your fire is not optional? What if suppressing it is what caused the sadness all along? You might find yourself crying for no reason, laughing mid-prayer, shouting in the middle of a quiet moment. Do not judge it. Do not run. This is emotional purging. The soul has its own tides. These waves you are riding are not regressions, but renunciations of the release. Every tear is sacred water. Every tremble is truth surfacing. For years you have carried guilt, betrayal, ancestral pain, hidden shame layered into your energy like invisible armor. And now, under the pressure of divine fire, it is melting. When David danced before the Ark of the Covenant, he did not care who was watching. He became undignified in the eyes of man, but holy in the sight of heaven. Chapter 6, verses 14 through 22. Mention that, are you willing to move your body like healing depends on it? Are you willing to shout, cry, spin, groan if it means clearing what has haunted your bloodline? In Argentina, a woman named Marisol once walked nightly through her village with no destination. She said she felt something pulling energy from her spine. One night, she collapsed in the street weeping uncontrollably. A neighbor helped her inside. That moment, though strange, led to months of physical and emotional purging, and she now runs a home for women healing from trauma. What if the breakdown you are fearing is the portal to a life you were born to carry? Let the fire rise. Let it burn away your hesitation, your need for approval, your fear of being too much. This fire will not consume you. It will consume only what was never yours to carry. You are not meant to cool down anymore. You are meant to glow. Even Jesus, in his final moments before his greatest breakthrough, was in agony, sweating blood in Gethsemane. Luke chapter 22, verse 44, states that the fire of purpose burns most fiercely right before the shift. What if your restlessness is not weakness, but sacred combustion? Beyoncé, during her Coachella performance, said in a documentary, "I had to rebuild my mind, body, and spirit." Her fire was not aesthetic. It was anchored in identity. Her glow came from grief, from labor, from the courage to rise reborn. Could your fire be the same, built not in the spotlight, but in surrender? A forest after a wildfire does not die, it regenerates. Seeds buried deep, cracks open in the heat. New life springs from the ashes. That is you now. Your soul has reached the temperature of transformation, but will you let the heat finish its work? So write your thoughts, shout your grief. Dance in your living room, lay flat on the floor, let your body express what your words cannot articulate. Because when it is done, you will not just feel better, you will be new. This is not emotional chaos. This is soul surgery. And when it is complete, you will emerge lighter, clearer, and more spiritually aligned than you have ever been. And your outer world, watch how it shifts. Because when the inside is purified, heaven rushes in to match it. People change, doors open, time bends. Life becomes less a struggle and more a song. Will you trust the heat long enough to let the melody return? You are not the fire's victim. You are its carrier. And when the smoke clears, the earth will know you by your light. A strange pull is beginning to surface. But it is not confusion. It is remembering. As you walk into spaces that feel oddly familiar, as you speak with strangers who stir something ancient in your soul, you are not imagining it. You are not off. You are waking up. That sense of déjà vu. It is not just repetition. It is recognition. Your soul has walked these crossroads before in lifetimes and realms beyond logic. And now the veil is lifting. The memories are returning. Do you feel it? That inner ache that says, I have been here before, but this time something is different. You are not broken. You are recalling. Your spirit is whispering. You were prepared for this. Why do you think certain phrases echo so deeply inside, as if they have been carved into your bones long before this body? Why do you think some dreams feel more real than your waking hours? What if your current path is not new, but chosen long ago in sacred alignment with your calling? Daniel the prophet once dreamed dreams and saw visions that troubled him deeply. Images no one else understood yet, they were divine messages. Daniel chapter 7 verses 1 through 28. Mention that, could the vivid images haunting your sleep be encoded wisdom hidden within you for this very hour? What if your night visions are not strange but sacred, not figments but fragments of a larger mission now reactivating? In the coming days, you may feel like time is folding. You will hear conversations that feel scripted, glimpse symbols that stir your spine. The veil between past and present, between human and holy, is now thinner than ever. Do not brush these moments off. This is not nostalgia. This is destiny reminding you that it never forgot. A young man in Peru named Mateo once described hearing music in his dreams. Music he had never heard, but could hum perfectly the next morning. He started writing it down, melody after melody. Later, researchers from a sound therapy institute discovered that his music matched the frequency patterns used in ancient temple rituals long lost to modern history. Could it be that your memories are not yours alone, but echoes from a mission larger than any single lifetime? These are not hallucinations. These are activities. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you, God said to Jeremiah. Jeremiah chapter 1 verse 5 states that if you are not discovering your path, you are remembering it. Oprah Winfrey, speaking to a graduating class, once said, "Your calling is not just what you do, it is who you are." She shared how she never chased fame. She followed alignment, and everything that was meant for her found her. Once, she stopped striving and started surrendering. Could it be that your striving is blocking the very grace trying to reach you? The energy you carry now is magnetic, not because you have pushed harder, but because you have cleared the noise. You used to chase attention, validation, connection, but chasing is exhausting. And now, something inside you is choosing stillness, because stillness attracts what chaos repels. Can you allow what is meant for you to find you without forcing it? Even Jesus in the wilderness did not strive to prove himself. He remained aligned, refusing to turn stones into bread just to satisfy a challenge. Matthew chapter 4 verses 1 through 11 mention that alignment, not approval, is where true power flows. Could your discipline be the door to your divine timing? In nature, sunflowers do not chase the sun. They turn to it naturally, rhythmically, by design. They align, and because of that, they thrive. The same energy is asking to rise in you. Will you allow yourself to simply face the light and let what is yours find its way home? You may wake in the night at 1:11 or 4:44. See repeating numbers, feel drawn to places you have never visited. This is not superstition. This is synchronization. Your higher self, your spirit team, your creator, all whispering in unison. Remember who you are. You are not entering a new season. You are stepping into a timeline that has been waiting for your awareness. This is not your first time standing before this mountain, but this time you are climbing with fire in your bones, with wisdom in your hands, with heaven in your lungs. You are becoming magnetic. You do not need to run, convince, or plead. You simply need to be. Be still. Be aligned. Be whole. And the things that once seemed out of reach will now find you. Not because you chased them, but because you finally became the version of yourself they were designed to meet. And now, beloved, chosen one, the remembering is complete, a profound awakening that has transformed the quiet whispers within your soul into a thunderous roar of divine revelation. What once stirred gently in the depths of your being, hidden beneath layers of doubt and daily routine, has now erupted into an undeniable truth that reshapes your entire existence. You no longer linger at the fragile edge of spiritual awakening, teetering with uncertainty. No, you are immersed in it, fully embracing it boldly, living it eternally, as if the very essence of heaven has fused with your spirit. The signs you have encountered along the way, the fleeting synchronicities, the recurring numbers, the unexpected nudges from the universe, none of them were mere coincidences. The tears you have shed in moments of solitude, the fiery passion that has burned within you through trials and triumphs, the unquenchable longing that kept you seeking in the dark, every single element was meticulously orchestrated as rehearsal for this precise, pivotal moment in your journey. You are not stepping tentatively into the unknown, grasping for clues in the shadows. You are striding confidently into the sacred territory that your soul has always recognized, always known deep in its core, a homecoming to the purpose etched into your being before time began. You were born for this extraordinary calling, handpicked by the divine to rise in a generation that desperately needs your light. You did not come into this world to merely follow the crowds, to blend into the background, or to fade quietly into oblivion. You came to flame, to ignite, to illuminate, to set ablaze the paths of those lost in darkness. You are the divine interruption in a world that slumbers under the weight of complacency and fear. The bold voice that shatters silence, the radiant light that pierces through deception, the sacred crack in the facade where the glory of heaven pours through unhindered. Every shift you have felt the subtle realignments in your relationships, the vivid dreams that linger like prophecies, the intense heat of transformation rising within the overwhelming pressure that refined you. The deep longing that propelled you forward has been leading you inexorably to this here and now. And in this sacred convergence, you must make a decisive choice that will echo through eternity. Will you cling to the familiar illusion of the old version of safety, the comfortable chains that once felt like protection? Or will you courageously rise into the magnificent new blueprint inscribed upon your spirit by the hand of God Himself? A design of power, purpose, and unparalleled destiny. The doors of opportunity have swung wide open before you, unlocked by your faithfulness and obedience. The ancient codes of heaven have been activated within your DNA, pulsing with life and ready to manifest. This timeline, this divine window of acceleration, will not pause or wait indefinitely for your hesitation. The portals you choose to walk through in these coming days, moments of decision encounters and bold steps, will shape not only your future, but the legacies you leave behind for generations, yet unborn ripples of influence that will touch lives you may never meet. So speak with the unquenchable fire of conviction. Let your words carry the authority of heaven. Walk with unyielding holiness, every step aligned with the kingdom's rhythm. Rest without a trace of guilt, knowing that true replenishment comes from surrender, not striving. And love with the fierce intensity of one who knows eternity is watching, because it truly is angels, rejoicing ancestors, cheering the cloud of witnesses, bearing testament to your rise. If you have ever felt alone in this arduous journey, isolated in your questions and battles, know this with absolute certainty: you are not. This space, this channel, this sacred calling, it is a holy sanctuary, a gathering place for souls exactly like yours. Warriors of light, united in purpose and destiny. We are a family forged in the fires of refinement, standing shoulder to shoulder in faith. So if this message has pierced the depths of your spirit, if it has stirred something ancient, profound, and eternally sacred within you, awakening echoes of who you were always meant to be, I invite you, urge you to take decisive action in the realm where it matters most. Like this video right now, so that others wandering in search of truth can find it and be transformed. Share it generously with someone whose soul is aching to awaken, a friend, a family member, or even a stranger led by the Spirit. Comment below with your thoughts, your testimonies, your declarations. Your voice matters more than you can possibly know, amplifying the chorus of revival across the globe. Subscribe immediately and turn on the bell notification so you never miss another divine moment, another infusion of heavenly wisdom tailored for the chosen. Every gesture, whether big or small, fuels the flame, helping to keep this sacred space burning bright and reaching souls in the darkest corners. Whether you give or not, thank you from the depths of my spirit. Truly, your presence here is already an invaluable gift, a blessing that enriches us all. Your energy radiates hope, your heart beats with faith, your unwavering belief. They are felt profoundly honored, reverently, and held with the utmost sacred care. Now go forth and walk like the heavens are watching every step, because they are with bated breath and triumphant joy. Speak like the earth itself is listening, hanging on your every word, because it is ready to shift at the sound of your authority. And rise like your destiny is depending on it, because it always has from the moment you drew your first breath. May you walk in the brilliant, unfiltered light of God's favor. May your path be clear, straight, and illuminated by divine guidance. May your spirit remain forever open, untamed, wild, and profoundly holy. And may you always remember with unshakable conviction, you are chosen, set apart, anointed for greatness, and you are becoming right here, right now, everything you were sent to this earth to be. Amen.